Hello, everyone. It's Sibyl Star, and I'm here to give you the MoonDay morning astrology forecast for the weeks from September 25th to October 8th. I'm going to be out of town again next weekend for my brother's memorial service in Kansas City, so I won't be able to record, but I'm recording for 2 weeks now, and it is a super exciting 2 weeks as we prepare for the eclipse season that is happening in October. We also have this week the sun crossing over the supergalactic center with downloads possible from other galaxies and other universes. We have the super full moon in Aries and much more. So stay tuned to find out what the stars may be saying to you. All right, so we begin the week with the sun in Libra. The sun moved into Libra at the fall equinox on October 23rd in most places around the world. And of course, the sign of Libra is very much is the sign of the scales. It is seeking balance. It is the balance of self versus other. But as they say, it is seeking balance. It's not necessarily that the sign Libra is balanced. Libra seeks peace, harmony, and serenity. The Egyptian goddess Ma'at is connected with the sign of Libra, the sign of the scales of justice, balance, and cosmic law. Ma'at says there is a right order of things, and when things are aligned in right order, it brings inner peace. Libra is the sign of the other. It brings in relationships, and Libra is learning about cooperative relationships with others. Libra is a very empathetic kind of an energy. Many counselors have it. Libra really can empathize and feel another's pain. Libra also understands paradox because it can see validity in both sides of an issue. That's why Libras often make great judges. They can manage paradox more easily than most because they recognize that the world is made of shades of gray, not just black and white. This is right and this is wrong. That there is truth in all perspectives. It's just, how does it apply to this situation? But of course, the shadow of Libra can be indecisiveness because they do see that truth in so many different uh, perspectives. So it's finding the one that really is most appropriate for the situation that is at hand. And another shadow is over-compromising. Libra has been called the cult of the nice. And another shadow of Libra is comparing oneself to others. It's so important to recognize that each of us are unique. We've come to have a different experience, a different perspective, it's actual and a different life and different cycles. We each have different soul contracts, karma. So it's really comparing apples to oranges when we compare ourselves to others. So it's just really important to understand that because we're all in it just simply as well in a different place in the cycle of our lives. Okay. All right. And as I said, the sun this week is conjunct a point called the supergalactic center, which is at 2 degrees, 22 minutes of Libra. So this is exact on September 25th, but we can feel the influence all week. And so what the supergalactic center is, in our 3D astrophysics, we call it a black hole, but higher dimensional beings say it's actually a portal to other galaxies. And they say there's over 40 galaxies in this portal to the supergalactic center. And my understanding is one of the most important teachings that is connected to the supergalactic center is the universal law of attraction. And I would say the sign Libra itself is very much connected to that universal law. And I actually have a couple of quotes from Bashar in this forecast because he's put out some things that are just really appropriate. And so what he has to say about the universal law of attraction is how physical reality is holographically structured. He says it's physics. Whatever vibrational realm you exist on, Whatever state of vibrational being you choose to be is the reality you get, or what you put out is what you get back. It's simple physics. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And the only way to change your reality is to change yourself. And he also says here, simple physics, that's all this is, about creating the appropriate state that you prefer in your own being and allowing reality, in a sense, to reflect back to you the shift you have made in yourself. So, look and see, what is in your field. What are you broadcasting? For that is what you are attracting. Whatever you're putting out there is what is coming back. Look at what is showing up in your field, and you might be surprised. And to know that if you don't like what is showing up in your field, you can change that by changing yourself. And another analogy is that it is about tuning into a channel. Like if you're tuned into channel 2, you're not going to get the programming on channel 4. So if you want the programming on channel 4, you have to tune into that. And how you do that is vibrationally. We are tuned into the frequency of the channel that we are broadcasting, and that is what we are receiving, because we're transmitters and receivers. So to change the channel, we must change ourselves to change the frequency, if that is what we want. And to also remember, this supergalactic center is a portal to higher frequencies. And so this cosmic light, these higher frequency, and I'm going to say we're at a place where fifth dimensional frequencies are what is coming in. It is pouring in. And as it does, it is about aligning our frequency with that energy so that we can hold it and anchor it here on Mother Earth. Okay. And as we release our lower vibrational energies, it allows us to anchor in these higher frequencies into ourselves and Mother Earth. Okay. It's all an inside job. I mean, the universe is here to support us, but it's still always an inside job. And of course, Venus is the ruler of Libra, and she's been retrograde. She's been in her retrograde cycle, which she's she went retrograde on July 22nd, but she actually moved into Libra in June. And so she's returning to that point where she went retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo, and that occurs on October 7th, and that is when her retrograde cycle completely ends. So I would say it's maybe some time for reflection. What was your teaching during this time? To me, Venus is so much about self-love. She's about love of self and love of others. So, what is being reflected back to you in your field around that? And of course, as she's returning to this point on October 7th, she comes into the final square with Uranus at 22 degrees of Taurus, and it is exact on September 23rd, but is in effect, I would say, until Venus is out of her retrograde motion. And so I feel like this whole process is about downloads and insights about how you value yourself, how you nurture yourself, self-worth, and feeling deserving of the abundance of Mother Earth. It's about our relationships. How are you valuing yourself and your relationships? And did you find some of your relationships may have changed during this time? Maybe some people are not as around as much, but others have come in. And of course, also Venus retrograde also often brings in people with whom we have unfinished business. And in aspect to Uranus, it can bring in, I'm going to say, love at first sight, which may be very exciting and real, but it may not last forever. So enjoy it while it is there. This can be an extremely creative energy, may have unexpected burst of creativity, and follow your passion. That's definitely what this Venus in Leo is about. And in aspect to Uranus and Taurus, Taurus is so much about the body, the wisdom of the body. Your body might be speaking. Listen to it and trust it. And of course, it brings in self-care and how we nurture ourselves. Self-care of body, mind, and spirit. The message I keep getting over and over and over is to nourish yourself. Rest. Take time for yourself. Take time for your body. and tune into the frequency of love. And as we do, to realize it actually starts with self-love, and then it permeates our field and how we interact with others. All right. And we also have the super full moon in Aries, is at 6 degrees of Aries on September 29th at 2:58 a.m. Pacific time. Like I said, it is a super moon, meaning it is close to the earth. And this, of course, is the harvest moon. This moon is called the harvest moon. And of course, every full moon reflects the light of the sun. And so it is the integration of the two signs involved. And in this time, it is the sun in Libra and the moon in Aries. It is the integration of those two energies. And Aries is the archetype of the warrior and the pioneer. And it requires courage to face our fears as we break new ground and we push our edges and grow. Aries asks us to grow. Aries requires self-sovereignty and a strong sense of self. Libra, the opposite, seeks inner peace, balance, and cooperative relationships with others. So how do we do that dance? Aries and Libra is the relationship axis. And so it is that place of finding balance within ourselves and especially within our relationships with others, okay? And to me, this full moon, if I were to give it just one title, it would be The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, because Libra is the sign of peace. And we have quite a few points in Libra. We have the sun tightly conjunct Athena, the goddess Athena, and she's at 7 degrees of Aries. We have Mars in Libra, which is conjunct the south node. And then we have the moon in opposite, the moon in Aries, Chiron, Eris, and the North Node, all in Aries. And of course, we know the North Node is usually our way forward. And so it says to me that Aries says to stand up for yourself and where you might need to say no, where things are not okay. And that takes courage. It's not okay to cross this line. And Athena in Libra, like I said, she tightly conjuncts the sun. You know, she is the goddess of wisdom, and she knows how to win without war, as she is a major strategist. Diplomat, she brings diplomatic solutions. How do we stand up for ourselves and yet be diplomatic, tactful, and considerate? Okay. And to know that there are solutions available when one is willing to see the other side and know that things are not black and white. To be able to sit down and really sit with this, you know, being able to see both sides of a situation and know that there is truth in both perspectives if you can see it, but you may align with one situation better, especially if a decision needs to be made. And Mars in Libra gives the ability to stand up for others, for justice and fairness, but sometimes have difficulty in standing up for oneself. Sitting Bull said in his culture, the warrior, which Mars is the warrior was the protector of those who cannot protect themselves. This seems to me how Mars in Libra often manifests. But with the North Node in Aries, I feel like it's also saying that when we learn to stand up for ourselves, we stand up for others, especially those in similar situations, because we shift the energy. Okay. And the Sabian symbol for this new moon is a square brightly lighted on one side. Squares are often enclosed, but it's kind of like there is one side that is lit up. And so I feel like what it is saying is illuminated solutions to problems and to follow the light or the opening. If you are dealing with a situation of conflict or difficulty, there is a solution available, but you will need to follow the light and not be stuck in that there is just one way to work with this situation. All right, we also have the nodes square Pluto. Again, you know, the nodes are at 24 degrees of Aries Libra. The North Node is conjunct Eris, and it's actually just 1 minute off exact Mars in Libra is conjunct the South Node and square Pluto. You know, I didn't show you this chart, but I think I probably should go ahead and do that. Okay, let me pull this up. Yeah, let's just look at it first here. Okay, let's see, screen share, there we go. Yeah, all right, so here it is. I should have shown it to you, but anyway, I'm showing it to you now. So here is the Aries new moon or full moon here at 6 degrees. At 6 degrees, 0 minutes of Aries, opposite the sun at 6 degrees of Libra, conjunct Athena. Okay, we got that there. And then we have Mars in Libra at 21 degrees, conjunct the South Node. The North Node over here, we've got it 24 degrees of Aries, conjunct Eris at 24:53. You can see this just 1 minute off, and we've got Chiron. And this whole complex, this nodal complex here, is still in a square to Pluto. Pluto's going to be moving out of this square, but it's really, this is like the last kind of like hurrah of this, I would say. Some other things we also have, here's Venus square Uranus, as you can see, and Mercury is in the same place where the new moon was. It makes this configuration called a kite, which is a grand trine, which Mercury is trine Pluto. It's a little wide at the full moon, but it comes closer as it's moving in closer. Trine Uranus and trine Mercury again here. So we've got Mercury, Pluto, Uranus. They're all in Earth signs, and then Mercury is also opposite Neptune, and this is going to get tighter. It's present at the full moon, but it is going to get tighter. Okay, all right. So let's continue with this. All right, so let's see, where were we? Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, I just wanted to show that to you so you could kind of see what's going on. Anyway, so Pluto is square the nodes, which indicates we're at a crossroads. But like I said, Pluto is going to go direct on October 10th, and it's going to start moving out of this square. But now it's this is kind of like the last leg of this square. And to me, just recently, I've just had I think an insight about the meaning of Pluto in Capricorn. One of the meanings, there's so many things. We know Pluto exposes any kind of corruption, stagnation, anything that isn't healthy, that needs to be released and let go of. And so, and Capricorn is a sign of self-mastery. Many of the masters, Yogananda, Jesus, there's so many, Yeshua, there's so many that are associated, so many masters associated with the sign Capricorn. And it is about self-mastery, which, is that place of being able to look at where we need improvement. And it's about integrity. It's about integrity and aligning with our inner truth. That's what self-mastery is about. But Pluto takes us into the shadow and the trauma that we carry that has been conditioned into us in this 3D reality, both personal and collective, and places where we might feel abandoned or betrayed or carry anger consciously or unconsciously. But Pluto's also about self-empowerment. And so when Pluto, I feel like these last few degrees is really taking us into some big self-mastery teachings. And of course, the North Node conjunct Eris. Eris to me is the feminine warrior who brings discord. And so it's about standing up for ourselves where we say no, and it brings discord when we're not. Mars conjunct the South Node, while also finding our inner peace in the process. So to me, the deeper meaning here is Pluto and Capricorn in this square asks us to take responsibility for what is ours, and then forgive ourselves for the choices that we made from these wounded places of trauma. And as we get healthier, we can make choices that are more in alignment with our truth, with our inner truth and our authentic self. And part of this process is to forgive others for doing the same. We are releasing old conditioning, and it is only for the very brave. Mars in Libra is changing signs in October, but will first square Pluto the first week of October, and it will be exact on October 8th. Mars brings up any places where we are holding anger, and to know the way to release the hold that anger has on us is to forgive everyone involved and let them go. Just let it go. And it's one of those things. Sometimes we have to let go of people in our lives, and that may be part of the forgiveness process. And if we, it's just important to let it go. All right. And there's this great, so there is this really wonderful quote here I want to share with you. And I feel like it has a lot to do with really deeply understanding this Pluto in Capricorn, which is going to be with us at least another year. Okay. Well, it's not with us another year. It's going to be with us. Let's see. It's going to move into Aquarius in January, but it's going to retrograde back once again into the last degrees of Capricorn. So it's still with us. So I want to share this wonderful quote. This is also from Bashar. And it says here that the universe sees you as master transformers, a master class of very strong beings and very strong spirits who know they are strong enough to have interjected themselves into a reality where they would completely forget who they are and be steeped in the experience of negative experience and negative definitions, and yet still, nevertheless, find their way to the light. It takes a very powerful being to be able to do that. So you are not a kindergarten class. You are a master graduating class. And that is how we see you. So I feel like that's super important to know, that even though we may be having some super challenges, that it's all part of the master teaching that Pluto and Capricorn is giving us in self-mastery. All right. So we also still have planets retrograde. We have 5 planets retrograde, but as I said, Pluto will go direct on October 10th. Mercury has gone direct, but is still in its retrograde zone, but it will be moving out this week. I'm not sure, I can't remember what day, but it's moving. And so I guess the question is, in this Mercury retrograde, then retrograde time, did your perspective change? I know mine certainly did. My body started speaking to me, and I am becoming aware of how important it is for me to listen. And with all these planets retrograde, it is still a time when things are moving slowly, but the log jam is starting to break up. All right. And as I said, Mercury's god of the mind is moving into that same kite formation at the new moon, and that was present at the new moon. And it consists of the grand trine with Pluto and Uranus opposite Neptune. And I feel like just a very simple meaning here is magical ideas and spiritual insights that also come with practical steps for implementation. Mercury moves into Libra on October 4th. It's been transiting in its own sign for quite a while due to the retrograde motion. So Mercury here becomes more empathetic. Mercury in Virgo is very much analyzing facts and data and information. Mercury here in Libra very much takes in a more empathetic, a tactful and diplomatic kind of a response, able to see both sides of a situation, but also may bring in some indecisiveness. Okay. All right. So that's what I see for the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to be sharing the moon signs because it would make the video too long. Anyway, but thank you for watching my videos. Really appreciate that. And if you like this video, please check like and subscribe to my channel. And wishing you all a wonderful 2 weeks, and namaste. Blessings to all.